very first hours of 2025, Guangxi province was thrown into chaos. Emergency alerts lit up phones, radios, and loudspeakers, warning more than 1 million people to evacuate immediately. Towns, cities, and mountain villages alike were urged to clear out as quickly as possible. Imagine it, sirens wailing non-stop, a wall of sound echoing from city streets to quiet rural hamlets. The message was urgent and terrifying. Leave now or risk being swallowed by the floodwaters. In the mountainous regions to the west and north, places like Hechi, Bais, Guilin, Lu, Zhou, and Chongzhou rivers became raging monsters overnight. Bridges that had stood for decades were snapped in half like twigs. Entire spans plunged into the muddy torrents below. Even old stone and steel crossings, once thought unshakable, were ripped apart in minutes. In hillside villages, homes perched above the slopes didn't stand a chance. One by one, they slid into the raging waters, swept away by violent mudslides and flash floods. Roads carved into cliffsides disintegrated. Pavement peeled off like wet paper, while massive landslides buried entire routes, cutting villages off from nearby towns. Cars and trucks were no match either. Many ended up submerged, flipped over, or jammed into debris piles like toys scattered by a giant hand. Footage from Lu and Hai paints the picture clearly. Vehicles half-drowned in swirling brown water, some stacked on top of one another in twisted, surreal wreckage. Out in the countryside, the destruction was even worse. Over 240 bridges damaged or destroyed, and more than 25,000 homes reduced to rubble. Provincial officials called the evacuation effort unprecedented. And really, it was a massive operation that forced over 1 million people to leave their homes in a matter of hours. Crowded city blocks to isolated mountain villages, families packed whatever they could carry and joined the flow of evacuees. In districts like Guan, Bis, Pezhu, and Wu, rescue teams worked non-stop, ferrying villagers out of danger zones as floodwaters chased behind them. Highways and main evacuation routes quickly became choke points. Convoys of buses, supply trucks, and family cars jammed the roads. Headlights glared through sheets of rain as people pressed forward, desperately trying to escape the storm's wrath. This was Guangxi's nightmare, a disaster that tested both human endurance and the strength of an entire region's infrastructure. Temporary shelters were quickly set up in schools, stadiums, and public halls, places usually filled with daily routines, now transformed into safe zones. Officials say these relocations may have prevented major loss of life, but the emotional and physical toll is undeniable. Families are shaken, and the destruction of homes and infrastructure is severe.
Put through mud and debris.
Mountain streams swelled into raging torrents, triggering landslides and mudslides across the region. The geography of Guangxi made matters worse. Its steep valleys and narrow gorges acted like funnels, forcing rainwater into confined spaces where it built up into devastating force. Entire hillsides gave way. Water carved out new channels, uprooted trees, and ripped apart building foundations. Remote villages faced long blackouts, with power lines snapped and communication networks down. Some areas were completely cut off, roads destroyed, bridges gone, and no way in or out except by helicopter or rescue teams pushing through thick mud on foot. And yet, the danger isn't over. Forecasters are warning that rainfall could exceed 400 millimeters in certain areas, meaning the risk of more flash floods and landslides remains high. Officials continue to urge caution, preparing for possible new evacuations if conditions worsen. What began as an urgent evacuation on August 1st has now grown into a full-scale crisis by August 4th. Over 1 million residents have already fled their homes, but the floodwaters show no sign of stopping. Bridges have collapsed, vehicles have been swept away, and entire neighborhoods lie in ruins. Authorities fear the storm will intensify rather than fade, leaving Guangxi's mountain districts and urban centers hanging on the edge of even greater catastrophe. For families already displaced, every passing hour feels like an endless test of endurance. Thanks for tuning in to Extreme Earthstrike 360, the place where we break down the raw power of nature and explain it in a way that's easy to understand. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to see more clear, fact-based coverage, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. Your support really helps us keep bringing you stories that matter. And hey, make sure you tap the bell icon, so you'll always be the first to know when we post new updates. Quick note, some of the visuals you just saw are for illustration purposes only and may not show the exact event being discussed. We'll be back soon with more real, calm, and straightforward reports. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, and we'll catch you in the next video.
According to preliminary reports from